Hi Dean, hi Dale, it's Grammy Grams and it's story time. Today's Easter, happy Easter. And let's say hi to the children. We have Sean, Amber, Calvin, Marcus, Craig, and Hayden. So we're going to read the miracle of Easter today since today's Easter. I hope you enjoy the story. And this is who it's written by. It's a little book. It's the only one I could find on Easter today. The morning after Jesus died, a man named Joseph from Arimathea got permission to bury his body. With the help of others, Joseph set Jesus' body in a new tomb that had been carved out of solid rock. Then they rolled the big stone across the opening of the tomb. The next day, religious leaders of the country remembered that Jesus had said, "After 3 days I will rise again." They decided to send some Roman guards to watch the tomb. That Sunday, something very amazing happened at the tomb. An earthquake shook the ground, and the angel of God appeared. He rolled away the stone that closed the tomb and sat on it. The angel looked as bright as lightning, and the clothes were white as snow. And the Roman guards were very afraid. They trembled and fell as though they were dead. Then Jesus walked out of the tomb and returned to life. He said, like he said he would. See the angel? A little later, some women who had known Jesus came to the tomb. They were very surprised to see that the great stone had been moved. Inside the tomb, they saw an angel. The angel said, "Jesus is not here. He has risen as he said he would. Quickly now, go tell the followers that Jesus is alive. You will see him in Galilee." The women were very excited. They left the tomb in great hurry and ran to the disciples. Meanwhile, some of the soldiers guarding the tomb went back to the city. They told the religious leaders what had happened. The leaders were very surprised. They talked with one another and made their plan. They collected a lot of money and promised it to the soldiers if they would tell a great lie. The soldiers agreed. They took the money and told their captains, Jesus' disciples came at night and stole the body while he was asleep. While they were asleep. Lies. While this was happening, the women ran straight to the disciples, excitedly told them about Jesus' tomb and the angel. Most of the disciples thought the woman must have made a mistake, but Peter and John ran to the tomb. They saw the strips of cloth that were wrapped around Jesus' body, but Jesus was not there. The tomb was empty. Quickly, they returned to tell the other disciples. That day, two of Jesus' disciples were going to the village outside Jerusalem. They were talking about everything that had happened. As they talked, another man came along and walked with them. It was Jesus, but the men did not recognize him. He asked about what the two were talking about. One of the disciples said, "You must be the only man in the city who doesn't know what has happened." Then both of them explained what happened to Jesus. Then Jesus began to explain everything that the ancient prophet had said about him, but the disciples still did not recognize him. Then they came to the village. The disciples asked to spend the night with them, for him to spend the night with them. While they were eating dinner, Jesus took a loaf of bread, blessed it, and gave it to them. At that moment, they knew it was Jesus. Then he disappeared. The two hurried back to Jerusalem and to tell the other disciples that they had seen Jesus. Later that night, most of Jesus' disciples were together in Jerusalem. Suddenly, Jesus was in the room with them. The disciple named Thomas was not there to see Jesus that night. When the others told him Jesus was alive, he said that he would not believe unless he saw for himself. This doubting Thomas. About a week later, the disciples were together again. This time, Thomas was there. And again, Jesus came to them. He said to Thomas, "Touch me. Stop doubting me and believe." Thomas answered, "My Lord, I believe in you." A few weeks later, Jesus met the disciples on a hill in Galilee. There he told them, "Go to the people everywhere and make them my disciples. Teach them what I have taught you. And remember, I will always be with you." Then Jesus raised his hands and blessed the disciples. As he was blessing them, he was taken up into heaven. The disciples gave thanks to God for the wonderful things that had happened, and then they went out and began to teach people about Jesus everywhere that they could. The end. So you can put that one on, and then we'll do the other one.